This story is a tribute to two people that I became acquainted with since I've been coming here very recently in the last year. When I moved into my apartment 3 years ago on High Street, High and Danforth, facing South Portland, looking over the Casco Bay. It's one of those old 1840 brick buildings that survived the 1866 fire. And it used to be facing a vacant lot on High and Danforth. Now there's a high-rise up there, and the view is gone, but the building is still there. And I am at the very back of this old 1840 brick building in the old kitchen and pantry. The old 8-foot fireplace was bricked up for an old iron range, and the old hole with the pipe is all blocked up, and there's my bed. And I used to be able to get up and look right out the windows at Casco Bay. Not anymore, but my pantry is actually the kitchen, so it's a studio apartment, and it was the very back to the front of the building occupied by these two, Peter and Karla. They have the front of the building from High Street all the way in the back, and their bedroom is right adjacent to where I went over to my kitchen to fix my various things and get my midnight snacks out of the refrigerator in the middle of the night. And I used to think when I moved in that, as an old building, that the walls were very thin. Because when I go over to my refrigerator and my stove, I could hear, "Karla! Karla! Why don't you tell me you love me?" And I keep my door shut. And I'm thinking, oh, I better be thinking, "What do you want now? What do you want? Do you love me?" Say, "Yes, go to sleep." This would go on at all hours of the day because they hadn't been out of the apartment actually in the last probably 5 or 6 years. She hasn't been. He's been out once a month. The ambulance comes once a month. They take him out suddenly in the middle of the night, and he's, "I'll be back for you." And he's back in less than 24 hours. And, "Did you miss me?" I said, "Yes, go to sleep." And so I began to think, gosh, if I can do all this, I better be a little quiet, because what can they hear about me? You know, I'm one to recite my things to myself, and they might start to think that I'm a little ibaboodles in the cafe, or whatever you call it. And then I found out that, no, they've been living there for 30 years. They've been married for about 40. And they're both almost stone deaf. That's a relief off me. So now I can just put on the 1812 Overture, or Capriccio Italiano, to block it out so I can get in my own mindset. But then when it runs out, in the middle, sure enough, in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock, "Karla, I could just die without you." I said, "Peter, you told me enough." Well, I think it was last month I was here on the 13th, and I had been practicing the story to them, thinking, "Karla!" And as I'm leaving out the door, I'm thinking, oh, I got to do something about them one of these days, I think. I went home. The 14th was Valentine's Day, and I was at home, and I was thinking, you know, maybe I could do something about a love story, or as I'm thinking about this, "Karla, you didn't tell me you loved me." And there was the fire trucks that came, and the ambulance. And I went outside and thinking, oh gosh, here we go. I said, "Oh, so you know where you're going, right?" And they said, "Oh yeah, we know him." I said, "Do you need any help with the..." He said, No, we got it." And so I waited, and finally they brought him out. But this time when they brought him out, he was stiff as a board. He was gone. That, I just, what? I went back to my apartment, sat down. Here it is, only 10 o'clock on Valentine's evening. And you know, really quiet in my apartment. Really quiet. And so I thought, well, I'm going to put the music on. Capriccio Italiano. Let's put that on. See if I can go to sleep. And this is what I've been trying to do lately, because I've been noticing that it's been very, very quiet in my apartment. In fact, I didn't realize how much I depended on their conversation. And I swear, in my sleep, from time to time, I keep hearing, Karla, I love you. I could just die without you. And he didn't. And she won't either. And I have to say, Peter, if you're out there listening to me at this point, I'd really appreciate knowing what the secret of your undying love was for Karla. Thank you.